Thank you all for joining us today on A's Cooking Show. Yesterday we made cake pops using the silicone baking mold. Today we're going to make cake pops baking them from scratch. Actually making them from scratch. So you bake a cake the night before, put it in the refrigerator to cool down. The next day we have our mixer. I'll show you. We have our cake that we made from the night before. Just crumb it up. It doesn't have to be crumb it all up in the bowl. We're putting in 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese. Divide it into 4. You're going to put put on your paddle attachment, or if you're using a hand mixer, use the beaters. I really wouldn't recommend doing this by hand. You can bake up the cake by hand, but mixing it, I would use either a stand mixer or a hand mixer. Make sure it's locked on low speed until everything is incorporated. Let's see how it's getting clumpy already. We're just going to add it to the rest of the cream cheese now. Wipe off your knife, get everything into the bowl. Now, I have some from this morning. We're going to add that to the bowl. And finish mixing that. And then we're going to chill this for 30 minutes. And if you have any leftover cake, just wrap it up and put it in the refrigerator. Finish mixing. See how clumped together this is? This is how you want your mixture to look. Now, we're just going to push this down to the bowl. We're going to cover it and put this in the refrigerator. Usually 30 minutes, but until you're ready to use it, if it's an hour, it's an hour. If it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. Okay. Now, I just so happen to have some ready. Give me a second. And I'm going to show you how to roll them. Now, almost ready to decorate them. Now, you're going to take them. You can see, you'll just use a small ice cream scoop. And the balls you have, just re-roll them real fast. Just to get them to make sure they keep their circular shape. You don't have to do this step, but I do. And they do not have to be perfect. Now, we're going to take the little bit we have left over, and I'm going to show you how to make these. I made these this morning. You take your small ice cream scoop, this or whatever size you want. You can mash it all together with your hands and just roll it into a ball. That's ready to decorate. I think we can probably get two more out of it, or one more. Smash it together with your hands, then roll it into a nice ball. Now we're all set to go. Okay. Pop it into the refrigerator real fast. Let it sit for 5 minutes more, and we're gonna get ready to start melting chocolate. Now, this is the fun part. Okay. Now let's just get our candy melts. Now today we're going to be using our white candy melts and our green candy melts. And whenever you work with chocolate, you always make sure you have rubber gloves and cotton wipes, any kind of wipes, so that when you get something on your hands, you can just wipe it off very easily and toss it in the garbage. Now yesterday I used bowls for melting chocolate. Today we're going to use cups. I think it'll be easier for us for dipping. If you want to, you can still use the bowls. Now, we're going to need our measuring spoons. For one 12-ounce bag, you need 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of oil just to make it melt softer. And especially since we're coating the cake balls, you want it as smooth and as flowing as possible. We have knives to stir each one. We have 3 knives because we're going to be using the green, the white, and a little bit of chocolate. We're also going to be using 3 forks. That's when we actually coat. Let's start. I think we'll start with a leftover chocolate from yesterday. Now it's best to add the oil. Well, for me anyway, I just get out a small cup and then pour some oil in it. Actually, we don't need to do that. Teaspoon. And we're going to cook it depending on your microwave wattage. Most microwaves are 1200 watts. You'll do it to start for 1 minute at 50% power. After 30 seconds, you'll take it out and you'll stir it very good, very vigorous. Make sure you get all that heat incorporated before you add it. Put it in for another 15 seconds. You want to make sure everything is well mixed. And since most of this chocolate is already melted, instead of 1 whole teaspoon of oil, we're only going to add a half. we're going to take out our cake balls and we're going to let them get to room temperature. Now, since this chocolate is already melted, we're just going to put it in for its first 30 seconds, and then we'll see how it looks. Okay. We are not going to add any oil to this yet. You always have something ready, a wipe something ready, or a paper towel. I'm going to paper towel. Now, this hasn't even started yet. So we're going to put it in for 15 seconds more, only 15. It's starting to get softer, but not yet. So we're going to do 1 minute, power level 7. Only for 15 seconds. When it gets down to 45, I'm going to try and start and break it up again. If not, then we'll put it in for another 15 minutes. Okay, here we go. Now, from now on, we do 15-second intervals. And remember to stir it thoroughly. Okay. Make sure you scrape the edges and get everything on the bottom. Fifteen more seconds and then we're done. You can't see it, but chocolate is nice and creamy now. Now we're just gonna let that rest for exactly what I want. We're gonna let that rest for a second. And we're gonna get a wet paper towel. Keep that right here. Because all we're gonna be doing right now is chocolate. Nothing else. Now before we use this, we're gonna go ahead and stir this again thoroughly. Now we're going to be placing this on the ball on the fork. We'll just place it in here and we're gonna roll it all around, and then you hold it to make sure everything comes off nice and clean. Now I'm gonna do half in one pan, half in another, because we don't want this chocolate sticking to each other. Okay? And see if the paper towel is wet, the knife comes right off. Let's take our first bowl. Hold it over your melting bowl until all is melted, until all the chocolate drips off, or most of it does. Now we drop our second bowl into the chocolate. All right, that's better. I think you can see it now better. This part you have to be very patient with. You don't want to just hurry up and put it on there. You'll better get a big gob of chocolate on the bottom. You don't want that. You want them nice and neat. We're almost finished. Patience, patience. Now we're going to put actually we have some more room in here, but our cake pops that we made yesterday, rather than waste them, we're just gonna take the six out of them after we finish these cake balls. After we finish this lunch here. Now if you use I'm using a glass bowl. Glass bowls retain their heat so much better than ceramic, so much better than any other kind of bowl. Not to say ceramic is bad for this, you can use ceramic, but if you have a glass bowl, you should use a glass bowl. Now our chocolate is getting a little bit cool now, so in a few minutes we're gonna have to reheat this. Maybe sooner. Let's see if we can get all these done first. We might be able to. Okay, now we're getting near the very end of our chocolate. One more to go. I think we'll have enough. Okay. Now we're going to put these into the refrigerator and let them fully set. Okay, now we're going to melt some green. And the cake pops that we did yesterday, we're going to, now that they're set, we're going to actually coat them in a layer of green candy melts for St. Patrick's Day. Before anything now, we're going to take them off of their sticks. And just place them back in here. Hold them out gently Then after this step, we're going to melt our green. We're going to put these back in the refrigerator. While we melt our green. The green should not take that much time. This is what the most time consuming. Mm-hmm. All right, let's start to melt our green now. Okay, get started. We have some green candy melts from yesterday. A bowl seemed to work pretty good. So we're going to use this size bowl. But since this right here was the 12-ounce bag, so we're only going to add half of these at once. So we'll only add 1 teaspoon of oil. Add the rest of the green candy melts as our green candy goes down. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of oil, and then you fully mix that. Thoroughly mix that. And then we're going to put it on power level 7. Power level 5 for 30 seconds. And you want to make sure that you mix it thoroughly at each addition. The dish is already starting to conduct heat, which will also melt the candy melts as you're mixing them. Now remember, after your initial 30 seconds, you cancel that, set it for 1 minute at power level 5 for 15-second intervals in between. Make sure you thoroughly stir the candy mix. Mm. 15 seconds. Now we're going to take our cake balls out. Let them get a little bit warmed up so that as soon as our chocolate's ready, 'If any water gets into your candy melt at all, it will look like burnt and it will clump up right away. Then you have to start all over from scratch. Now, if your candy melts are almost melted like these are, make sure you stir it good and thorough. Stir it for a good 30 seconds. Use whatever heat you can from the bowl. 10 more seconds and we're done. Like I told you, get whenever you work with any chocolate, you get a wet paper towel, wring out all the excess water, and just keep it right here. So if you lay your knife or your fork onto it, it won't stick. It's moistened. Now, we're gonna make sure my hands are dry. We're going to get our fork and we're going to start. Now we're just going to do the one from yesterday. We're going to do some green. These are coming up perfectly round. Okay, so let's go over with this today. We made the cake pops. We baked the cake last night. And we broke it up inside a container. This morning we added 8 ounces of cream cheese to one cake mix. So you know what the measurements are for each one. Then we melted our candy melt. When you're all finished with the mix, you take your small scoop and just scoop it around ball, then you scoop it into your hands. You mash it for a little while, and then you line them all up and you put them in the refrigerator to chill for a good half an hour. Then when that is finished, you melt your candy melts. First you do it power level 7 for 30 power, I'm sorry, I'm getting that mixed up. Power level 5 for 30 seconds. Then with your knife, you mix your candy melts thoroughly. And to your candy melts, I always add 1.5 teaspoons of oil to every 12-ounce bag of candy melts. That's a good standard to use, since most bags come in 12-ounce packages. After you do this for a while, you'll be able to tell exactly how much you do need. So you won't have really any left over. We might have to melt some more green. So I'll go over those steps again with melting the chocolate. Yes, we're going to need to melt some more green. I think we can get one more out of this. Now when it starts getting hard to take the ball out of the mix, out of the candy melts, that's when you know you need to start reheating it again. Okay, we're going to reheat the rest of the green candy melts. And pour the rest in. This time we're only going to add and since you already have some melted chocolate, and you use the rest this time up we have on the microwave. Now make sure you're stirring good, very good. Not just a quick stir. Stir them very good for at least 30 seconds. You want to utilize all that heat that's in the bowl. We have a few more left. Just give this a quick stir. Sides. Okay, this is thin enough. And then we're going to pop these in the refrigerator for 10 to 15 minutes. And that's how you make cake pops from scratch using the cake mix. Yesterday I showed you how to do them with the silicone mold. Today I showed you how to do them with cake crumbs and cream cheese. Thank you very much for joining us here today on Cooking with AJ. If there are any questions, please you leave them on the Facebook member support page. Again, yesterday we made cake pops using the silicone mold. Today we made cake pops using the cake crumbs and cream cheese. Use 8 ounces of cream cheese to 1 cake mix. Have a great day.